This is a Harper Guys production.
The Harper contains foul language and adult material. If you are easily offended and thin-skinned, you should hit the stop button now. And if you are not a complete idiot, let's get this party started.
Let's get down to brass tacks, gentlemen. If I was informed correctly, the clock is ticking. Is that right, Jimmy?
But good luck arguing that in court. Let me get down to brass tacks.
Listen, let's get down to brass tacks here. How much for the ape?
Jack, let's just cut the crap and get down to brass tacks here.
Are you hating on Neil Diamond?
Holy fuck! Fuck Neil Diamond!
Our dream of deathmatch is going to come to fruition, and my golden ticket is going to pay off. Hoo-ah! Don't you fucking hoo-ah me, motherfucker!
I want the ability to time travel.
Dumb. This is stupid. Welcome to the Hopper, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jake. With me, as always, my co-host Adam.
Well, that's right.
That was the.
I almost said, "What's up?"
That was my impersonation of that guy you see once in a while at a concert, where everybody's jamming out, and then you look at that one person, and you're like, "Why are you here?" If that's your reaction.
If you don't enjoy it, go home.
Right. So
go to your home. Don't you want to go to your home?
that was my reservedness for the evening. So.
Well, welcome to the Harper.
Welcome back.
Holy fuck balls.
So Adam's going to get us started with a quick PSA on where we can go, what we can do.
You can shove it up your ass. Okay. Episode 93. Visit us at theharperguys.com. Once there, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. All those fucking links. All right. You can also find us everywhere podcasts are found. Go to our YouTube channel right now and subscribe. Oh, fucking don't. We don't care. I mean, Jesus Christ, at this point, who fuck YouTube and all it's meant for?
Hey, if
Jesus Christ.
if any of you guys out there actually shove that up your ass, send us an email and we'll send you a free T-shirt. So
shove the email up your ass, because I think that would be hard to do.
just print it out,
How
fold
do you?
it up.
Oh yeah, I guess you could print out the email and shove it up your ass.
I mean, I guess.
If you get paper cuts and you bleed out, don't call me.
Right.
Right.
I guess. Well, that was an interesting way to start the show.
Well, you know what? I'm going to recap a little bit for everybody. Most of you know, maybe some of you don't. The 10 listeners we have on the Harper, the Hateful Eight plus their two cousins.
Yeah. If you don't know, now you know.
We haven't been around. See, I think our last episode was in April.
That we actually recorded?
I think.
Wasn't it like the week after the draft?
Something.
Did I tell the world about the greatness of Justin Fields? I feel like I did.
Well, hold on. Maybe. And then we released, if you're paying attention, we released our 4 Patreon episodes. And then we got snookered and got reminded there was a 5th that was missing. So since we record a Gallows episode and a Harper episode every night, I had to go back through the archives. And what happened was we had 2 episodes, one for the Harper and one for the Gallows that we called the Lost episodes.
Yeah.
Because I fucking forgot to publish them.
Right.
Because the Patreon was sinking. And so, anyways, there's 4 Patreon episodes. We released 2 on March 3rd. And then every Friday after that, we released another. And then we finally released the Lost episodes the following Friday.
Yeah.
After we got bitched at by the Moonshine Mafia. He fucking let me have it. Let me tell you.
Shout out Moonshine.
He let me have it.
He did.
But then we let him have it by letting him name the Gallows podcast.
Yes, we did.
So anyways, that's where we're at.
That's right.
We do have, for this show, something in the works. Possibly in the next couple episodes.
Right.
Something new.
Investors, possibly you.
So
From Step Brothers.
it should be fun. This should be a new something, but we won't let the cat out of the bag.
We'll change it up a little bit at some
I'm
point in
trying
time.
to give you all kinds of hints here.
All kinds of hints here. All right. So, what do we want to start up with tonight?
Okay. Phobias.
All right.
Phobias. This is a big deal. A lot of people in the world have fucking phobias.
I think almost every person has at least one.
I mean, you have to, unless you're just ice cold, stone cold Steve Austin.
Or dumb as a fucking bag of fucking rocks.
Yeah. So, I've got a whole list of phobias.
Okay.
And I know you have one big one.
I've got like 3.
Okay, but I know you have one big one that you've talked about. And that is the, let's see, the scientific name. Cynophobia. I might not be pronouncing that right. C-Y-N-O. Cyno? The fear of dogs.
That's mine. Like, that's one of my...
Is that number
on the list.
one on your list?
Probably number 2. But it's definitely one of the big 2.
So
like,
what's number 1?
It's calf cramps, dog.
Is there a fear of calf cramps?
I mean, I'm sure that there's an actual term for it, but like when I was in school growing up, I from all the sports and shit I played,
Yeah.
especially with like wrestling, where I had to do like some serious weight cutting, to where I would like I'd go through a hard week of practice, and at the end of the week I would be dehydrated, and I'm talking the kind of cramps where like
Debilitating.
you can't move for like a minute plus, and it seems like an hour, and like my calves are huge. I got 24-inch fucking calves. I mean, they're fucking massive, to where when one of my calves fucking cramp up, it's the worst shit on fucking earth.
I can only imagine.
Fucks me up for fucking days. I can't walk. Like, it's the worst thing on earth, to
Yeah.
where
I've not witnessed anything that bad. I get, like, my calf cramping is like I move wrong in the bed and I can catch it real quick.
yeah.
And then, but it's still like, but then if I, no, I can do that. No, I can't.
But see, I got mine down to like a ritual. I stretch every night before I go to bed. Make sure I stretch my calves out real good. I try to make sure that I hydrate a little bit before I go to bed. Then I sleep with my feet. I sleep on my stomach with my feet hanging off the bed, toes pointing down. So it's something I've done a good job of working with my body and training it to not do that. So
Wow, we have to look up
God willing. But I'm pretty sure if I end up in hell, it's going to be me with a calf cramp trying to run away from a dog.
on your phone if there's a phobia of calf cramping and what it would be called.
All right.
I'd love to know. Me, I don't know, like serious phobias. I mean, I don't like insects, but I'm not like deathly afraid of them, like a true phobia. But I mean, like if I walked into like, let's say, into the woods and I came across like spider webs and shit, you know, that's not a big deal. But like if I felt them crawling on me, the crawling on me part is
Yeah.
kind of a phobia.
Yeah.
Now maybe that's an actual phobia, being crawled on by insects or spiders or whatever. I like the number one. Do you know what the number one?
The number one fear people have?
Yes.
Claustrophobia.
Well, it's actually arachnophobia.
The
Spiders.
I'm going to say that, or what's heights?
Heights it's on here.
If we were playing this game on fucking Family Feud, we'd be crushing it.
I'm looking. Oh, acrophobia.
Acrophobia.
That's the fear of heights.
There you go. It doesn't show on the first page of Google that there's an official name for it, so I've got one of those weird phobias that nobody else has, apparently.
Or very few.
People with giant
So
calves.
what's another one? Do you just want to go through the list?
Is there a fear of getting fired? Even though I feel like I've always been good at my job, I've also been that person. I've never been fully secure in it.
There is a
and
fear.
I think it makes me a better employee, but
I don't think it's a fear of being fired. I think it's a fear of being unsuccessful or something similar. But yes, there is. I did see that on there. I did not write that down. Mm-hmm. So let's go through them a little bit and see what you think. So,
all right then.
Arachnophobia was number one, and these are not in order after that one. Ophidiophobia. You know what that one is? Mm-mm. Fear of snakes. Got to be pretty common. My wife has this.
I can see that.
My stepfather has this.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. My wife would climb up a tree or up my back if there's a snake. My stepfather would go get the fucking shovel.
Yeah.
So, phobia...
There's more than one. No, then that's not really a phobia. It's more of a deep-seated respect.
Yeah, he don't like them, and he doesn't want nothing to do with them, but he's a big dude that carries a big stick, and he's not going to be afraid to fucking kill him.
Yeah.
So, we went over acrophobia, which is the fear of heights. This is a different one. This is probably the coolest one.
What?
Agoraphobia.
Agoraphobia.
Not the Cleveland agoraphobia.
I was going to say, I love the Cleveland agora.
The fear of situations where escape is difficult.
Okay.
Maybe, like, okay, for instance, I don't have this fear, but it goes through my mind once in a while. Like, people, there is a fear of flying, right? But I don't have a fear of the flying. It's the fear of, how do I get out of here if there's a panic? I'm stuck in the back.
Yeah.
If there's a panic, it's going to get real hot in here, and I'm not going to be able to get out.
Yeah.
Kind of a claustrophobia type thing.
Yeah. Like the dudes on that submarine.
Yes. Yes. Cynophobia, fear of dogs. All right, here's a fun one. Glossophobia. Now, think of this. Your face is glossed over. What would that be?
Like you can't see?
No. Fear of public speaking. That's a popular one. Kids have that a lot in school.
I haven't had that one before, so there's...
I'm going to say you've never... You and my son, Caden, talk for days in front of... You're not over here. Come here.
Right.
you're
Nothing draws a crowd like a crowd.
You're missing out. This is a real one, and I don't have this fear, but I can totally get it. I guess it would be called thalassophobia.
We'll go with that.
Thalassophobia.
Thalassophobia. What is it?
Something like that.
Okay.
Fear of the ocean.
My youngest daughter, a deep-seated fear of whales. So not the entire ocean, just whales. Will not go in the ocean because of whales.
Like killer whales?
Any whale.
Like a big old blue whale that's looking for krill?
Dude. Does not jam on the... Now, you want to watch... Now, you want to send somebody down a rabbit hole with the whole thing? You go on YouTube and look up videos of orcas hunting together. I mean, you want to talk about some scary, weird shit. I mean...
I've watched it.
They're apex predators. There's nothing that hunts an orca.
No.
Nothing. So when 6 of them get together and they decide that those 7 seals on that iceberg need to go, they're going. One way or another.
I watched Stupidest Lady in the World. She's swimming along in the ocean, far enough out where she's not 10 feet away from the beach.
Yeah.
Swimming along the beach, and here comes a baby orca, kind of investigating.
Yeah. Just checking the world out.
Big old mama's right out there.
Yeah.
5 more feet. And you can tell mama's looking at this like, snack, or do I let my kid do whatever?
Yeah.
Then they just eventually swim off. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, lady.
Stupid.
Go inland.
Yes.
I mean, maybe that happened once before and it was okay, so let's film it this time.
I guess maybe.
Good grief.
Just saying. They're scary. Big fuckers.
Now, I looked this one up.
Okay.
Scopophobia. The fear of being watched.
Oh, really?
Now, some people might be like, well, that's dumb. But guess what, everybody? You're all being watched and listened to and recorded on your little fun devices on what you look at and where you go and what you like and what you do. So, if you don't have the phobia, you might now.
Yeah. I would challenge any dude listening to this that says that they don't have it. All right, we're going to get you in an outing with about 50 golfers out there, and you're first on the tee box, bro.
Yeah.
Show me the way. Tell me everybody doesn't feel that. Like, you give anything, like if I hit one good shot all day, let it be this tee shot. One shot, please, all day.
Now, my personal story about that,
Yeah.
when I was a young buck and going around with my friends, and we'd always play through the old guys, every time I got up there, and I know those old fucking 4 old codgers are watching me, I always did well. So, after a while, I was like, give me, but then it doesn't always work.
Right.
Sometimes I do hit shitty shots.
Right.
But for some reason, I have this like, woohoo, this is going to be great.
Right.
But it doesn't always work out.
I gotcha.
But no, that was more of the social, interference that we're getting by Big Brother. So entomophobia, probably saying that really wrong.
Okay.
The fear of insects. I looked that one up because
Oh, that makes sense because that's an entomologist, right?
entomologist
Is an
entomophobia.
Which that could be anything. I mean, speaking of which, are you ready for the? We're not going to get it much up here, but are you ready for the cicadas? 17 years, baby. This is the big year.
And I have a story about that.
Well, do tell.
Let's see. So, 36 years ago, which would have been, 34, right? For the last 2 times ago, every 17 years?
So that would have been like, not the time before, but the time before that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a little fucking shit. And
Get out of here.
And my grandfather took me, he was a big coon dog racer, and he would go to these coon dog trials.
Yeah.
And they would race these dogs in the backwoods. And I loved that part. I wanted to go with him so bad. It was the fucking cicada, big fucking 17-year thing. And they were fucking everywhere in Ohio. All over the ground. And as a kid, I had the fear of insects horribly. Entomophobia. And just didn't fucking like them at all. Nothing to do with them. And I can remember just literally being frozen in the yard of out in front of this main lodge where they would go in.
Yeah.
And he's getting so pissed at me. Come on, damn it! And I'm just like, I can't move, Gramps. and finally I would, bawling my eyes out. I'd just go with him because I'm gonna get lost otherwise. Yeah. So yeah, that's my story of those fuckers.
Good time.
Here's one that I actually can relate to. Most of us can in some form or another.
Okay.
Trypanophobia.
Trypanophobia.
Fear of injections. The needle.
That's one I could give a shit less.
Well,
You could stick a fucking yardstick needle in my fucking arm and I wouldn't care.
I don't care about the sidearm.
You can get me in the ass
But
cheek.
when they're doing this,
Oh, yeah.
it bothers
when they're
me.
drawing blood from the crook of my elbow, I laugh. Kind of tickles. Who gives a shit? Whatever.
So this guy came over to my house one day because I was applying. My dad wanted me to get this real big health insurance.
Yeah.
He's going to pay for it.
Yeah.
$159 a year. I'll never forget because eventually I had to take over the payments.
Sure.
But he wanted this just in case. Extra insurance. It was $100,000.
Yeah.
It was dirt cheap.
Yeah.
$159 a year. And the guy took my blood pressure before. I knew I was going to get my blood taken. And he took my blood pressure before they drew and after. And he goes, wow, you don't really like shots, do you? And I'm like, well, I mean, not my favorite thing, but well, he goes, man, your blood pressure was way high before, and he goes, and it was way low afterwards.
That'll get you. If you're afraid of them, it'll scare the shit out of you. I mean,
Well, it doesn't scare me. It's just something I didn't like. Uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm probably a lot better now. That was in my 20s. Didn't say that right.
Your 20s?
20s. And then aerophobia. This is an easy one.
Arrow. Fear of air?
Fear of flying. That's all I got.
Yeah. I mean, mine aren't like ones like, I don't know, is a phobia like worrying about your children? I'm constantly worried something's going to happen to one of my daughters.
It's called Taken sequels.
Right?
Phobia.
Right?
Taken phobia.
Liam Neeson phobia?
Takeophobia.
I have a very specific skill set.
Listen, I will find you. I will dismember you.
Yeah. I don't carry a lot of, I mean, dogs, calf cramps, and bees because I'm allergic to bees.
Yeah.
I mean, those are really the three that I'm always on the lookout for.
Right. So
you know what I mean?
As a kid, like I said, fear of insects horribly. As I've gotten older, I've gotten much more calm with them.
Yeah.
They don't bother me as much. Like I said, unless they're crawling across my face.
Yeah.
Not real big fan of that.
Yeah.
Bees might have been on my top 3 as a kid because they have fucking stingers. But as I've gotten older,
Yeah.
like last night sitting there on the patio, one was fucking around with a dog, and I'm like, pow!
Bitch!
Done. So not nearly as bad as I used to be, but
Now, let me ask you, like, one that, I don't even know if it exists as a technical term. It probably does if we dig someplace. But do you have any fear of power tools? Because I've seen in, like, one day, like, a chain come flying off a chainsaw, a disc go flying off a weed eater.
So I
mean,
think
like...
your question has already been answered. I mean, I'm building all this shit, and do I look scared?
You're just like, ha, ha, ha! Check this one out.
That didn't go well.
Give me more Legos, Ma!
I need some more duct tape. I know I can get a.
Because I will say that, like, when we're working in the woods and, like, we're out in the middle of fucking nowhere, working with fucking power equipment, because if something goes wrong, we're in Fucksville.
I always have a slow thought when I work with power tools, meaning I am very deliberate. I've seen shows like Can't Scratch Fever. Who is this singer?
Ted?
Uncle Ted. I've seen Ted on his shows, fucking very experienced outdoorsman, even probably, I don't know, with the chainsaw, but cutting his leg with the chainsaw because he didn't follow the path or didn't know where the path was going. It's no different than when you're cutting with a knife. Make sure no one's in this radius.
Right.
So I deliberately think about that all the time when I'm using tools. So maybe that's why I don't worry, because I'm like, okay, time out. But there's a lot of people that don't.
Sure. That's fair.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything else on phobias.
No, that's okay. What do you got here? Give me something. Shoot from the hip here.
All right. Well, I don't know if you've seen or heard, but had some legislation introduced to the Ohio floor.
For those that don't know, I stopped watching the news, so please enlighten me.
Ohio currently has a state house and a state senate and a governor that are all Republicans. They're following suit with a lot of other states right now, and now officially dropped to the floor is constitutional carry for Ohio.
Drop it like it's hot.
For those of you that don't know what constitutional carry is, constitutional carry says that the Constitution itself gives you the right as a non-felon to carry a concealed loaded weapon without a permit. Anybody?
When does this go in effect?
The vote hasn't happened yet, so there will be a vote coming shortly, though. And you listen to them talk about it, and they're like, look, we got to get this in now before we can't. So it sounds like it's a foregone conclusion. DeWine has basically said, DeWine is the governor, by the way, of Ohio. DeWine has basically said, I'm not thrilled to sign this, but I know that there's going to be enough votes to override my veto if I do veto this. So, yes, I'm going to end up signing it if it hits my desk.
So, question for you.
Yes.
All the whiny ass bitches out there that have been complaining about firearms.
Yeah.
How would this ever get passed?
What do you mean? Because
Just what I mean.
Because you have a whole bunch of states that have this in, and this isn't me. This isn't me taking a stance. This is me being an honest reporter. Their numbers, when it comes to mass shootings and stuff like that, pale in comparison. Always lower than the states that have the super stringent gun laws. Always. Because you have to be afraid that every person that you fuck with might fucking pull a gun on you.
Well, and that's where I was going to go with this was it should, in theory, suppress some of this bullshit or shorten it. If you've got a guy that's got somebody hostage and you've got 15 people around him out of 100 that might be packing, he might not be able to see all those angles.
Yeah. Now, for those of you that are affected by these laws, if you live in a state that has these laws, let's be clear. If you are carrying a concealed weapon and you draw that weapon and you discharge that weapon, you're going to get arrested. You might not be charged with anything, but you're going for a ride downtown to have a serious talk about what happened.
You might even get charged if you brandish the weapon.
It depends on the situation. If it's in defense of yourself or another person, then
No, I'm talking about being a tough guy. Like,
yeah,
you don't want to do this.
Well, no, that's assault with a deadly weapon. That's different. You can't just fucking go around flashing the gun.
I don't mean pulling it out. I mean just showing the butt of it.
Right. But if somebody's like fucking with your family and you're like, hey, I don't want this to go any further, but I'm just saying, that's not illegal. That's using that firearm to defend your family in a non-lethal sense. So, in effect, it's actually a really good way to go about it. The police unions are split on this. Some of them say, great, now everybody we pull over might have a gun. The other ones say it removes the speculation that they might not, to where they can now go into every situation assuming that the person that they're pulling over is armed, to where it would be some retraining of our police, which I'm not really opposed to that either.
No, but I don't think it's going to make any situations with the police any better. Because they're all going to be on super high alert now.
They're there now.
I know, but I think that's the problem with our police. Is they're too much on high alert.
Nah. Not right now. They have
hypersensitive.
Well, whatever you want to call it. I think that it's going to be a fantastic law. once it goes into effect.
So, but this is strictly Ohio you're talking.
Right, and these laws do not translate state to state unless the next state also has it. Right. So, like from here, you could drive from Ohio to Indiana. They have it, so they're cleared. Illinois does not. So the minute you cross the line into Illinois, you're now breaking the law because you're carrying a concealed weapon in a state where it's a felony. So you got to know what you're doing to get around it.
So we need a list in every car of what states got it in the bordering states.
Now, the other half of this legislation that's going through is they are removing the retreat law. So it's actually called the Stand Your Ground law, that basically right now, even if you have a concealed carry, in any situation, you are under obligation as the person with a firearm to do everything you can to run from the situation. Okay?
Wait.
Correct. That's
so
exactly
if
what I
you've
just
got a gun,
said.
they want you to run.
Yes. They want you to be cornered like a dog and this to be your last resort. Well, the argument for this and why this is being shot down many places is because if the law is meant to protect you, yourself, your loved ones, or other people, right? If you're the only one with a gun and the law is saying that you have to run away, how can you stand there in defense of other people?
You're going to get shot in the back is what's going to happen.
That's what I'm saying. It's a contradictory law. So that's why that's going hand in hand with it.
If I'm in a grocery store and somebody's getting aggressive and threatening somebody, and I want to step in because all of a sudden I love this person, I want to protect them. You think? I mean, maybe it's none of your business. I mean,
you can say that all you want to, but if somebody's hassling my wife and I'm not there, I'm hoping that there's somebody like you there that's going to step up and make sure that something doesn't happen to them. I mean, that's where the entire community outlook comes on this. You know, you're part of the whole.
So does that mean then, not only in vehicles, you could carry it concealed on your person?
At all times, yes. So
anywhere.
Okay, but imagine it's the same as the no shirt, no shoes, no service. Any business can say that you can't carry it inside.
Right.
You cannot carry inside of like a federal courthouse, a police station.
So, in other words, if I'm walking up to my grocery store and I'm packing heat,
you can carry it all the way up to the door. If you get to the door and there's a sign that says you can't have it on in there,
turn around and go back.
If there's no sign, you can carry it anywhere you want.
So look for the signs.
Yes.
Signs.
But like no joke,
signs.
like if you go look at like, not that you're gonna love everything about them, but if you go look at like 2A groups, you can find lists all over the place of stores that are anti-gun and that are pro-gun. If you want to support businesses that have the same ideology as you.
Hooah!
So that's my first kind of fun. You know, I don't know if guns are fun to people, but I'm just saying like it's
guns are fun
in a world where it feels like our liberties are being crashed on left and right. It's
Well, you know what? My theory is, and I'm actually at 45 years old, thanks to a little bit in part to Jake, I'm kind of getting into this world a little bit. I've always been around guns to a small extent, but now I'm diving more in. I'm getting more acclimated. Also getting my family more acclimated with firearms of all different kinds, and
it's important.
And honestly, my wife is like, we need to know this stuff. So you know what? It's kind of like a life skill. That's kind of how I'm treating this. Like, you may never need it, but what if you do?
It's like learning how to drive stick, bro. When something goes down, somebody needs to drive, and you're the only person that can drive that stick vehicle.
You're a hero.
It's a skill that is worth its weight in gold.
Yep.
So that's what I got. That's what's going on with the Ohio concealed carry. Oh, and just to throw in for the last little bit of Ohio, awkward, but also enjoyable. I've ventured into the world several times in the last couple of days without my mask on, thanks to the new rules, and I am actually enjoying it. I don't feel like there's been pressure from other people or from establishments to wear said mask.
But even though it's not June 2nd yet.
No, it's because they said June 2nd's everybody. Whether you had your vaccine or not have your vaccine, everybody's free range in the state of Ohio on June 2nd.
Okay.
Up until then, so we have another almost week. Up until that point, if you've been vaccinated on the honor system, because by law still they cannot force you to get the shots. It's a murky area in a lot of places of the world. We don't have to get into all of that at this point in time, but I'm just saying, for here, it was funny. I walked into Tractor Supply on Saturday morning. I have a mask on. I'm the only person in the entire store with a mask on. And I went walking out, and this lady was walking in with her daughter, and she said, "See, honey, he must not have his shots yet because he still has his mask on walking around." And I wanted to be like, "No, I was early. I was in January." Like, so that was it. I'm like, fuck it. No, I keep one in my pocket. Just because I don't want to be pissing people off, you know.
That's right.
That's called courtesy. And I know that not everybody practices that these days when we have a differing opinion, but that's how I look at it.
Yeah,
if I deeply offended somebody, instead of argue.
Rather than having somebody in your face just spitting in your face, yelling at you, just put your mask on and go about your business.
Right.
Yeah, I did
feel like
notice
it's happening fast, though, don't you?
Oh, my God.
Like,
Dude,
everybody's like, fuck it!
It's like the workers at the stores, most of them still have masks, but the patrons, most of them, 90% of them are maskless.
Yes. And I feel like it's happening very quickly. Like, everybody's like, all right, we're done with this shit. Fuck this.
Well, we're all walking in with our masks, and we're looking around, and we're like, fuck this. Look at all these fucking jokers.
Right.
Into the pocket.
Give me COVID or give me death. I don't really want either, but
All right, I got a new thing on the show here.
changing gears.
Just don't.
Just don't what?
Just don't.
Just.
So we all know the
Don't.
Nike slogan, just do it.
Yeah.
Well, I've created a new one. It's called Just Don't.
Do it.
You could just don't do it. This is what not to do. So I've got a few things here, and if this triggers any of your thoughts,
Sure.
of things in your life. So I know we all care about the kids in our communities for the most part, except for those douchers. But for the most part, we want our kids to grow up safe,
Yeah.
and sound, and be smart, and all that stuff. But we're all busy in the morning. We all have somewhere to go.
Sure.
When you get to that 20-mile-an-hour school zone, do the 20 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But don't do 10.
No.
And don't do 15. Because we all got somewhere to fucking go.
Right.
20, if you are a cognizant human being, 20 is more than efficient to pop the brakes and avoid hurting somebody.
Sure.
I've just had too many people doing 15 or less. And it's just like, come on, fuckers.
You fuckers.
All right, that's one.
right.
Just don't, oh my God, take your whole fucking family, gotta read how I word this, to beg for cash on the corner.
Oh, dude.
So we've all seen the sad, poor soul. Some of them that you know are legitimate, some that you're kind of on the fence about, and some you just fucking know. That fucker's out here pretending.
Sure.
So this happened the other day in Norton.
Okay.
Now, Norton is a small community with a one main intersection, and there was a family. Now, I'm not going to get into the race of the family because it doesn't matter whether they were white.
Well, it matters now you brought it up.
No, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying I don't need to. But the dad was built like me. Looked like he hadn't gone too long without a meal. You know, had a little bit of a belly on him. And a nice fitting shirt. Clean. Nice ball cap on. His wife was closest to the corner. He's holding the sign saying, been going through some tough times.
Okay.
They're all dressed in very nice clothes.
Okay.
They've got 2 strollers to have the kid effect. You know, like the homeless guy with the dog. You know, that's a heartbreaker. It just is. This was not. So it looked like mom, 2 strollers, maybe a daughter, and then another daughter. Now, this daughter looked about my daughter's age. Now, I'm going through the Wendy's drive-thru because my daughter's got to get to a practice, and we're getting her some food, some
Sure.
nice quality Wendy's
Yeah.
before we hit the dusty trail for the softball practice.
Sure.
And we're watching this because we have to wait here a little bit because Wendy's drive-thru's fucking slow as fuck. And we're watching them, and I'm complaining. I'm like, look at these guys. I said, look at that guy. He hasn't missed a meal in a long time. I mean, I don't feel bad for them. And then, so I saw them when I came home, and this is about 3 hours later, and I come back, and they're still out there. And the one daughter is walking back from the plaza with bags of stuff because they're getting money.
Yeah.
Bags of stuff, and the dad's looking at. There's also right where they're at. There's also an ATM drive-up. It's specifically by itself. Like the bank is way over there and they put one out over here. He's over there. What a fucking genius idea. These fuckers are pulling money out of this machine. Please, sir, please. They're fucking handing it. I'm just like, I can't fucking believe it. The daughter is my daughter's age, and my daughter is pissed. She said, look at her. She has got shit that was bought online. You can just tell, like Shein. My daughter buys clothes from Shein. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
Yep.
It's just an online clothing place.
Okay.
She goes, that shit, I've seen that shit online before. These people are fucking buying, and she was like, big earrings on.
Sure. That's shitty, dude.
People are still getting the money. Now, okay, maybe they were approaching this like, hey, we're stuck in Norton. Something happened. Our car broke down. We need some money. We're on tough. I don't know how they were approaching it. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they had to get their car fixed.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's legitimate, but they didn't look like it was legitimate. So don't take your family on the corner and beg for fucking money.
Don't go to the fucking corner and beg for money, period, if you don't truly fucking need it. I think I've told you. Keep them short. 2 things I've seen around this realm that fucking piss me off. The first, there's an old guy that has a fucking veteran's hat on. He's in a wheelchair. You know, it's 180 degrees outside. He has a blanket over his legs. You know, he always has a big scruffy beard. I'm sitting there one day at the traffic light, and I'm fucking sitting there watching. I watched this guy get out of the car, go get in his fucking wheelchair, and like roll himself into position. Now, if that ain't bad enough, the car that dropped him off was a fucking Lexus. I'm like, somebody's fucked up here. So there's that one, and then the woman that's up here all the time, she's got the best sad face ever. If she would just go into acting, she would be set for life. But she'll sit down there with the same sign all the time. And when there's no cars coming, she sits on this rock and she just keeps doing this. She just keeps looking up, keeps looking up. If you get far enough that you can see behind her sign, she's got a book. And while people aren't coming in line for her to beg and make the super sad face, she just... Dude, it's the most annoying fucking thing on earth. I just want to...
Do you ever roll down the window and say, go get a fucking job?
No, I haven't. I'm pretty sure that this lady doesn't have any idea what the word dignity means at this point, so I'm not going to try to take away whatever's little bits left. Not that there's much there, but it's annoying as fuck.
They make, the ones that do it, scam-wise,
Yeah.
make a killing.
Make a killing. Well, I think I told you the guy that was out there on the north end for a while that has been now removed for defecating all over the place out there, that when he moved out of Worcester, they found $35,000 in cash and $50,000 in gift cards in his car from begging down in Worcester. So there's money to be made, folks. That's working hard for money. What else should we just don't do?
Don't cough in the microphone. Don't be in a hurry at the floral department.
Why?
All right, this is a kind of a story.
What'd you do?
So, my daughter's a softball player. She's playing her last junior varsity game in Norton, and we went to Acme. It's about
600 yards?
half an hour before the game. And we're going to go in. We want to get the coach some little flowers because she's been a great coach. My daughter loved her. So we're going to get some flowers for my daughter to give to the coach, you know. Be nice and bon voyage for the season. And one of the reasons we wanted to do that as well was my daughter's had a handful of shitty coaches. So when you get a good one, you really want to appreciate them.
Deep appreciation.
Yes.
Sure.
So we were in line, and we were behind a lady that was getting a bunch of Mylar balloons filled. And the attendant was an older lady, and she just taken her time. Now, I didn't have a problem with this. We were looking at our clock, our watches a lot, but still, I'm not bitching. I'm not complaining.
Sure.
This lady was about 3/4 of the way done when we got there anyways. And then it happens. That lady gets done, and this 28-year-old trailer park trash girl tries to get in front of us with her 24-pack of Corona, and she's up at like we're at the counter. She tries to get up like where the attendant would go back, like get a little bit farther ahead of us. And I don't usually ever say anything, but we're a little bit strapped for time.
Sure.
We've been waiting 10 minutes. We still got plenty of time.
Sure.
But I said, ma'am, we were ahead of you. And she goes, oh, I know what happened. She came up there, and then she asked the lady a question before she got to us. Then they went and looked at balloons real quick. And they were over there for about 3 or 4 minutes, too long. And then when they finally walked back, I said, ma'am, we were in front of you. She goes, oh, I was here before you, and then I got out of line.
Then you got a line. I don't know what the question is.
And when we showed up, you weren't here. Like, she wanted the attendant to vouch for her. But the attendant's an older lady. She's just like... And then my wife. Holy fuck.
Mrs. R.
Let her have it. From ankles to eyeballs.
Yeah?
Let her have it. Pretty much called her white trash coming from the trailer park. I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna throw down.
Do it.
And all of a sudden I'm like, all right, this went from like we're gonna have fun watching a softball game to this. This is not fun anymore. These two women, and then so she left again. And I didn't know where she was gonna go.
Okay.
She had a handful of shit. I thought maybe she's gonna go run those through the register and then come back and just get whatever she's going to get.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, in the middle of all this, she says, I'm kind of in a hurry. And my wife says, what, to go drink limes and Corona and get shit-faced? She did. And then I'm like, oh, my God. And then she goes, we've got a softball game that starts in 15 minutes. We're a little bit more in a hurry for you, for our 15-year-old daughter. And the lady didn't have nothing to say. And so then, like I said, she left, and the attendant goes, I don't know. People just think that, you know, something about I'm going too slow. And she's like, pfft. And so the attendant's on our side. We're like, right, yeah.
Yeah, get him.
Get him. And then, so she comes back, gets real close to us.
Yeah.
Like super close. I just want to go psh, like Van Damme.
Right.
But, and then finally, with the utmost class, as we walk away, she goes, I hope they lose. And I said, they might lose, but you're a loser. We walked out.
Oh.
So don't be in a hurry at the floral department, motherfuckers.
And if you are, stay in fucking line.
That was a long story for that little bit of funniness, but...
If you're a guy and you have kids and a wife and you go vehicle shopping, just don't buy the minivan. Whatever you do. Every time I see a man driving a minivan on the side of the road, like while I'm driving for work, I'm 87% sure he's given up. There's nothing left. There's nothing that's going to keep him going.
The minivan?
He's one bad moment away from snapping and burying all 4 of them in the backyard. Yeah. So that's my advice. Get the SUV, pay the extra $6-8 grand, whatever you gotta fucking do, and don't succumb to the minivan.
I agree.
Sorry, minivan producers. I'm just fucking saying.
We had a minivan, and it was exclusively my wife's vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
I'd much rather...
How'd you like driving that?
Actually,
yeah?
they drive like Cadillacs.
Yeah, they
man.
do.
They do.
Pitmobile.
But I do agree.
Do you have some dice hanging from it? Little fringe around the top?
No. I'd much rather ride bitch in a minivan than be caught driving one.
I'll agree with that.
Yes.
That's a definite true story.
I guess it should be called shotgun.
Yeah.
But
sorry, that was my... I just wrote a couple down while we were talking there, so I just wanted to get that one out.
What you got for me?
Truck drivers.
Truck drivers?
Just don't ride beside each other on the highway.
Oh.
I will give you a half a fucking mile if you need to get over.
Are we still in the just don'ts?
Yeah. Just don't. As 2 truck drivers, don't fucking ride beside each other. Whoever's in the left lane is the dick. The guy that's in the right-hand lane, he's truck driving his life away. It's cool. That asshole that pulled over and decided to ride beside him because he's going 65 and a half instead of 65, fuck that guy. Because if you and I did that to where that fucking asshole trucker couldn't get around you, he would be on your fucking ass trying to punch you out of the way.
That goes for anybody in the left lane.
Yeah. Well, now I will say this. There's a number. Do you have a number? Because I do so much interstate driving that I will ride in the left lane sometimes. But if I'm in the left lane, it's 8 or more over. And if I'm going 8 over the speed limit, and you don't like how fast I'm going, you are more than welcome to pass me on the right. I don't give a fuck.
See,
No, you don't get to control my driving, and I don't have to follow slow-ass truckers because you want to go faster than 8 miles an hour.
The passing lane. It is not the cruising lane.
You know what? I passed 97 police officers in the last month driving the left-hand lane that would differ with you because I didn't get pulled over one time for just cruising in the left-hand lane. So it's not just a passing lane anymore.
It is a passing
Maybe
lane.
back in 1937, it was just a passing
when I see
lane.
3 fucking douchebags doing barely the speed limit in the left-hand lane, and I can't go nowhere.
Those guys are dicks. I didn't say they weren't, but 8 over, sorry, if you need more than that, figure it out. I'm passing plenty of people on my right going fucking 8 over.
Well, these people are not passing. That's
Well-
what I'm talking. The people that don't pass, kind of like the truck driver.
Right.
They don't pass. They think the world is fucking great. And then when they get into open area, the guy that is in the back, he doesn't go around. He's like, this is woohoo.
think
I'm
we-
getting airfoiled.
I think we should have like minimum speed limits like per lane.
There are places.
If you're
with
going
minimums.
under 65 in a 70 and you're in the left-hand lane, you get a ticket.
There are states. I have seen minimums before.
Well, they're like 40.
Right.
Who goes 40 on a fucking interstate?
Some doucher that made him put the sign up.
Right, people that want to die.
Yeah.
Because if you go 40 even in the right-hand lane, there's an 80% chance you're going to get rear-ended.
Fucking Mook did it, all right?
Fucking mook. Just don't. Just don't go to Subway as an individual person and order 5 fucking sandwiches. Woo! You can go fuck yourself. You don't want to bring the family to beggar day? Fine. If you're buying 5 sandwiches, you should have to put up with your kids being assholes in line. Your wife doesn't know what she fucking wants. Fucking deal with it. Because when I think I'm next in line and I realize I'm 6th in line, I am fucking pissed every time.
Aw.
Is that it? No, I have another sandwich.
No,
Are you done? No, I have one more sandwich after that one.
So now this is my equivalent to you and your Redbox stance. Because I'm the guy that goes in and orders 4 fucking sandwiches.
Fucking cocksucker.
And but guess what?
Tell me.
I've been complimented. So me and these 3 dads are in there, right? I did 4, and my numbers were 4, but there was 3 dads.
Yeah.
And I'm in line, and now we're only getting 6 inches, but it's still 4 fucking sandwiches. I do this shit verbatim. And this guy looks at me. We're all done. We're all waiting for our sandwiches. He goes, how'd you fucking do that? I said, I've ordered a lot of fucking Subways.
Well, no shit.
No, but he's doing his. He's got his phone, his napkins with the notes.
It's not my fault that guy's a bad dad. Like, if you've got kids that are over the age of 8 and you don't know what their Subway order is, you're a bad parent. Hey, I'm not going to window dress it. That's the fucking truth.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. When it comes to most of these places
the dude
these days,
fucking high-fived me. He's like, dude, you fucking rocked that. I'm like, you should have.
I was going to say, I'm not cooler because you suck.
Yeah, really.
Those are the 3 just don'ts I came up with off the top
All right,
of my head.
perfect. Let's keep moving here. Let's see what the time on the clock says.
How much time we got?
Oh, my God. Oh, this has been way too long-winded. We're going to have to cut things early.
All right.
I'm kidding.
I don't give a fuck.
All right. A quick one here. A what? When things go your way.
Sometimes they do.
Sometimes they do. So I've got 2 quick stories.
Okay.
I might have told you the first one. My daughter is a freshman, and she had a bat she was using for a couple years, and I just thought, because of this good coach, she was really energized and reinvigorated, and she was doing really well. And I'm like, this is a perfect time to get her a balls-out bat that she can use for the next fucking 4 years, and if it survives 4 years. Some of them don't, but hoping it will. So we went looking. I did some research. The bat name is the DeMarini bat, and
Oh, really? It's a DeMarini?
DeMarini.
That's cool. It's good. I like DeMarinis.
Very, very good bat.
Very good bats.
I watched videos
Yeah, they're good.
of these girls swinging them. Don't like this DeMarini. Like, they were going through them. This DeMarini, every girl should have. You know, I didn't just watch one video, a bunch of videos.
Sure.
So I got the bat that I thought would be perfect for her. Color scheme was amazing. Now, it was a 2020 model because I'm a little bit of a cheapo, and I figure if I can save $100 here, it'll save me in the long run. And it's how much different in 2020 to 2021 is there going to be a difference? The technology isn't fucking cranking up that much. So, I found it. It took me a while because this size and weight was very popular and it was hard to find.
Sure.
I found some lighter ones and shorter, some longer ones and heavier, but I finally found it. I get online, I order it. It's done. It was just under $300. These bats go for almost $4, brand new. So, the very next day, the fucking lady called me, and she goes, "Mr. Reisinger, I was at work." I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "This is so-and-so from so-and-so, and I just have to let you know that you put that order in, and I know it said we had those in stock online, but we don't have the 2020 in that size." And there was a pause, and I'm just waiting for her to say, "So we're going to refund your money, and thanks for doing business with us."
Yeah.
Or attempting to do business with us.
Sure.
But then all of a sudden she says, "So what I can do is I can give you the 2020 model, 2021 model, the brand fucking new bat. It's a wash. You just take it. Go. Run away. It'll be here in 2 days."
Yeah.
I was like, she goes, then she finishes with, "If that's okay with you." Now, funny but not funny, the color scheme is pretty gross. It's for girls, man. They like things that flow and look pretty.
Whatever.
Right? And I'm looking at it, I'm like, I still can't say no. Sign me up. Thank you. Hung up. Appreciate the business. Showed up 2 days later. Showed my daughter the two bats. I said, "This is what I tried to order you. I know it's pretty. It's black and with a little bit of pink and red." I said, which would have gone really good with the uniform. I said, "This one here is all white with, ugly blue and orange, but it's brand fucking new, baby." So she dug it, and it worked out well.
Good.
But, and they do fucking have some pop.
That's a good time.
Number 2, new owners of a storage unit. So I've been storing my car in the storage unit, and new owners take over. Now, I've been doing this deal, best deal I could find, because I'm a super cheapo. I've got to fit a car in the storage unit. And for these size, they go for about $80 a month. So I found over in Rittman,
Yeah.
$65 a month, which is fucking great. But you got to pay 3 months in advance.
Mm-hmm.
So I pay, 3 months worth in advance.
Right.
So I pay $201 something, or $208, whatever it is, with the taxes, and I throw that out there. Well, I get an invoice I get a thing saying, "We're new owners, yay, and your next invoice is $85. And I'm like, 85? Fuck. New owners, my fucking contract's all blown to fuck. So I call this guy after a couple days, and I'm like, "Hey, man," I said, "I'm one of your tenants. I know you're a new owner, and I'm a little bit just a question about my bill. I had this contract for, 3 months, and it looks like it's changed now. Can you give me a call?" And dude fucking called me that night. I missed the call. He fucking followed up the next day. The very next day called me. "So you got a problem or question about the bill?" I said, "Yeah, I had this and that." And he's like, "Oh shit, yeah, you're in, man. Just go. You can pay online now. $200 for 3 months. Go for it. Do it now. See you later. Bye bye." I'm like, shit doesn't usually fucking happen this way.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the way to have it go, though.
So that's the wubba what?
That's pretty good.
That was my wubba what
Right.
moment.
Right.
You have any wubba what moments?
I had 2, actually, of my own. You already know both stories, but I'll tell our listeners anyway.
I want to hear.
So, the first one was, I'm sure you've heard us talking on the show about wanting to do some mowing down at the property, right? So I started looking around, and I want to get like one of the self-propelled brush hogs. We got some stuff that needs to be brush hogged, but getting an actual tractor down in there, I really don't know how well that would go. So I want a self-propelled one, to where I start looking, and these things brand new are $4-5 grand, easy. So I start looking around, and I find a used one on online, and the guy wants like, I don't know, what was it, $825 or whatever it was for it. So
Way better than $6 grand.
right, it looks nice and solid. I'm like, all right then. So I just shot him a message, and I'm like, "Hey, I got things that go boom and some bourbon, or like you into any kind of a partial trade? You know me. I'm always trying to work a deal, work a trade,
Traders Row, baby.
So the guy's like, yeah, like let's check it out. You know, what do you got? So I tell him a few things, and the one particular gun that I have no use for. It doesn't fit into to any of my range shooting, any of my hunting, nothing like that. It's something that kicks hard enough. I wouldn't feel comfortable giving it to anybody else that isn't a very large, stocky person. You know what I mean? So I offered this gun up to him in trade, and he thought about it, and he came back, and he's like, I'd rather just have the cash, whatever. So I was like, I get it. So I thought, start doing some looking online, and I found that there was a website that has a lot of really good reviews for if you got guns to sell that you're not going to use. Like, this is a good website to sell them to. I'm like, well, that's fine. This gun's not registered to me anyway, so let's check it out and see what you can do. So sent in a couple pictures, and within 24 hours, they sent me back an offer, and I accepted it, and they sent me a case. So I sent them the gun along with I have my my little slip that I put in with it. 4 days later, my check showed up. The check was about $260 more than what the brush hog was. So I got a hold of the fella and lowballed him a little bit, with cash in hand. It's a little bit different ball game when you're walking around with the greenbacks. So I called him up, and I went over and I looked at it, and I told him, I said, well, I got $600 in cash for you. I said, that's really what I'm looking at. He's like, oh man, I don't know. So I did the old pull the wad of 20s out. I said, dude, I got $600 in cash. If you want to put it back in your garage, you can. I'll keep looking, but I feel like this deal makes sense for everybody.
You couldn't do 650.
You seem like a good guy. I guess I don't want to deal with all this again and have more people show up. That's fine. I'll take it. So, I netted a little over $400 on the fact that he didn't take the gun for it. So there was that one.
We call that a moonshot.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with it, the way it worked. So the other one was, I don't want to give you a dissertation on old bourbon, but Colonel E.H. Taylor is a very well-known brand of bourbon. They all have yellow labels. This is actually Michter's this evening.
Yeah,
So
we didn't go over that.
this is just a Michter's single barrel. You can find it a lot of places. It's very tasty and delicious for being
It's good for your friends that don't know bourbon.
well, it's not super hot either. It's a 45% alcohol versus some of the 60s and 70s that you can buy out there now. So just a nice little sipper for tonight. But so long time ago, Colonel E.H. Taylor actually buys his distillery from a gentleman named McBriar. He's actually known as the Judge McBriar. So 175 years later, his family buys the name back, the McBriar family label, and they are ready to do their first release. So I've been following the situation the day that it came out. Like, I'm not joking. Within 15 minutes of them posting that they were taking pre-orders, I pre-ordered my bottle because you can limit one per person. No fuckery to be had here. So I order it. I'm all excited. I get my thing. I got bottle 759 out of 1,000 in 15 minutes. I mean, they were sold out within the hour completely. So I get my bottle, and anybody that's ever opened a nice bottle of liquor knows that there's a piece of tape that goes around it, right? To where when you twist the top, it tears the tape, and your bottle's now open.
Yes.
Well, I got it, and I took it out of the box, and the one side was already tore, and the other side was like 2/3 of the way torn. So I had gotten an email from the guy's name is Bill McBriar. He's like the great-great-great-grandson of the original McBriar, right?
You said, hey, what's up, McBriar?
Well, so I sent him a message, and I just said, hey, I was super excited to get my bottle. It came. It looks great, except for the tape is torn, and like, I'm not really trying to open this. It's a first release. It's a first edition.
Oh, so you were going to just keep this.
That's all I wanted is to go on my
but
shelf.
now it's fucked.
Well, it is, but so I sent the email just like, hey, I don't know if this is somebody's actual email because it shows that it comes from you. I know you're the owner of the distillery. Maybe somebody can point me in the right direction. I'm super excited. I just want to put this on my shelf. It might be an heirloom someday. Super excited about it, and it just came in like this. I don't think this is a good representation that I would want to keep, because it'll affect it someday, I'm not ever trying to say that I'm going to have to sell it, that I'm going to want to sell it, but
You might have to.
I might want to someday. You never know. Bill McBriar gets back to me, the fucking Bill McBriar. And he said, hey, absolutely, I'm willing to make this right. Do me a favor, send me a picture. I absolutely, within 5 seconds, bam, bam. Here's a picture of each side of it. Here's a picture of the whole bottle. There ain't nothing missing. Like, I'm not playing no shenanigans here. He sent me a message back. He's like, hey, He's like, let me figure out exactly what I want to do. He's like, I might ship you another one. I'm not real sure. He said, these were very limited as our first release. He's like, I only have 4 left, and we're planning on keeping these, so I'm not really sure. Like, let's think about it over the weekend, get it back a hold of me next week. Okay. So I got a hold of him last week, and I just said, hey, just wondering kind of what you come up with here. And he said, I'm actually going to be making a trip to Northeast Ohio. He said, I'm going to bring you one of our bottles, one of the 4 that we have left. He said, I haven't decided which one yet, but I'll let you know. He said they're all single-digit numbers, so that doesn't make me sad right there. So they're one of the first bottles that were actually poured out of this thing. And I asked him again, because again, you know me, I'm never afraid to raise my hand. What's the worst thing that happens if you raise your hand? You get told no.
Get it slapped.
But, you know what I'm saying? Worst thing you did, I said, with this being a first release, I said, as great as you've been about this, I said, I'm going to ask one small favor. I said, can you do me a favor and just sign the bottle? I said, you're part of one of the great lineages in the history of bourbon. I said, it would mean a lot to me to have that on there. Absolutely no problem. I'll meet you in Akron at such and so place on such and so date. We'll swap out bottles, take a couple pictures. It'll be a good time. So I thought, that guy could have told me to fucking pound salt, and I couldn't have done a thing about it. I could have left him bad reviews and talked shit about him to our 10 listeners, but he didn't. He did the right thing when I proved to him that I wasn't out trying to do something shady, So I thought I felt like that went my way.
Just a handling issue?
What it is, and I told him this in my email that I believe that it's the case, is the way that it's got a real nice box to it, to where the one side opens up and then the whole thing opens and there's a whole story about the old man McBriar and the whole everything, and that this is the family resurgence in the world of bourbon, right? So, but if you look inside the bottle where the bottle sits, so the bottle is not doing this, it's kind of rigid. And it looks to me like when somebody put it in there, the tape wasn't tight enough on the sides, and when they pushed it down in this holder, it just ripped that tape right off the side. So I'm looking forward to getting my my new McBriar signed. And
so did your brother get one too?
No, it's one of those things where nobody knew when it was going to drop.
Okay.
It was like the surprise, like you're going to eventually get an email. As soon as I got the email, I sent it to Josh. He was working at the time, so by the time he got off work,
too late.
There was just no way to make it happen.
I guess where I was going with that is if he had like the 501 and you had the 5.
Now, let's be honest. If somehow Bill's listening to this, he's got the inside scoop before he gets here. But I'm going to take enough cash with me for what a bottle cost, for what I paid for that first bottle, and I'm just going to be like, if you don't want to take a bottle back, I will just give you cash.
Not going to bring all 4 with him.
No, he's only bringing the 1.
Yeah,
but I'm talking the one I'm supposed to give him back because he wants to trade. Like I'm not just getting a free bottle here.
Oh,
we're swapping out because he's only got 4 for his whole family for forever. But I'm going to try to be like, hey, this is how much that bottle costs. It's already basically open. I would be more than happy to share those with my friends in the bourbon community and talk about how great your bourbon is, and then I can still put the one you just brought me that's signed on the shelf.
He's going to say, well, listen here. I was going to drink that one because it's ripped.
Well,
just like you was.
And I'm going to if he lets me buy it from him. But if not, that's okay too, and I completely get it. I mean,
so you're like, is there any chance just that
right
you would be willing to sell the one I'm about to give you back?
Right. Hey, the thing with biting off more than you can chew is that you just took too much in one bite.
Make sure you have the single digit in hand in the truck before you make that offer. So you don't be, no, and I'm taking this perfect one back, you asshole.
I don't think he's going to do that.
Okay, just check.
He seems like a really good gentleman. So that was all I had for things going your way.
Okay.
Next week we'll do things going not your way. That'll be part of the next show segment.
Do you have anything left? Because I have 1 2-second thing to do.
I've got 2 2-second things.
Okay. So, you do your 2 2-second things.
Okay, first one, Phil Mickelson. Woo! The old guy getting it done. For all you Tiger fans out there, suck it! Fucking hate Tiger. You pussy ass don't know how to drive at home with your broke ass leg after your fucking drunken escapade and blowing out your fucking window with your ex whore wife and all the other fucking Tiger problems. Everybody was sucking this guy off when he came back and won a major. Well, the good guy for life, Uncle fucking Phil, coming through, winning the U.S. Open. I mean, not the U.S. Open, the PGA Championship. I don't know if you saw it. any of the fucking pictures. He hit a gorgeous shot on 18 to land within like 10 feet, and he had to like 4-putt from there to win the whole thing. Dude, engulfed in people. And there's just this picture of him in the sea of humanity, all excited for the 50 and over guy, just short of his 51st birthday. Love Phil Mickelson. Always will be my favorite golfer. I love that he got it done now, and he's the guy that's always been up 16 second place finishes in fucking
You know who my
majors.
favorite golfer was?
I don't know.
Arnold Palmer.
Well, that's because you guys graduated together. So that was it on Phil Mickelson. And then if you're looking for something entertaining right now that you probably haven't been watching, fucking playoff hockey right now is fucking incredible.
Are the Blue Jackets involved?
No.
Then I'm not watching.
I'm telling you right now, I don't really care for anything NBC affiliated, but CNBC and NBCSN
Are the Penguins involved?
They're out now as of last night.
Okay, I might watch then.
But I'm telling you, during the late night games, you are getting teams like the Colorado Avalanche and the Las Vegas Knights. I'm telling you what, super fun, physical, high scoring. It's super entertaining. They've got the fans back. It's fucking awesome. So again, I like hockey. I've liked hockey my whole life, but it's never been like my favorite sport out of all of them. This year's playoffs, I am absolutely loving. So if you're looking for something a little bit different, give it a shot.
Okay. So we are going to wrap up tonight's episode with
Go Justin Fields, Chicago Bear. Oh, no, not that.
the Boston phrase of the day.
The Boston phrase of the day.
Can you guess what the Boston phrase of the day? Yo, you can't. I'm just going to.
I know what it is. It has to be.
No, I'm going to give you the word here, and I want you to tell me what it is.
All right.
It's the bubbler.
The bubbler. I know what this is. So if I remember it correctly, the bubbler is actually it's a public water fountain.
Yes. So if I was in Ohio, I would say the bubbler, but I would not call it that. But yes, it's a drinking fountain.
Yeah. Yeah.
The bubbler. Used in a sentence. If you're thirsty, go grab a sip from the bubbler.
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta be impressed I knew what a fucking bubbler was.
Dude, that was
Thank you.
legit.
It's actually British fucking like old slang.
Bubbler.
Bubbler.
Well,
The bubbler.
it just proves the Irish
Right.
heritage.
Tally ho, bubbler. No?
No. All right, let's get the fuck out. Here we go.
One last thing, if you're looking for something else entertaining on YouTube, there was a chick fight at the St. Louis Cardinals game the other night, and it was fucking awesome. Like 2.5 minutes of women in the stand just beating the shit out of each other and security crawling down to them. It was insane.
Nice.
You know what they needed to do? They needed to call the National Mental Health Hotline because mental health is something that's important to them, just like it's important to us. So if you are really struggling in your life, you just need to talk to somebody, pick up the phone, 1-800-622-4357.
Yes, so if you have bad thoughts about hurting yourself or others, please call the hotline. It's not a joking matter.
Jesus, finish your line and do it right.
What did I say?
If you're thinking hurt yourself or somebody else, or you just can't quit that habit,
Yes, call the number.
there you go. Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. Bip, bip,
Pip, pip.
cheerio.
Cheerio, bubbler.